Other news this morning, 2023 on pace to be the deadliest year on record in Kansas City.
Police in Kansas City are now investigating the city's 129th homicide of the year.
KCPD homicide analysis shows this is the 131st homicide.
We spend a lot of time counting the number of homicides in our city and state. But advocates in the Black community say the victims have long been overlooked, that Black women are being killed at disproportionate rates.
When you look at the numbers, it's a crisis. We clearly have a crisis.
As if their word isn't enough, data that I found shows it. If you're a Black woman or girl, Missouri is the most dangerous state in the country, trailing only Washington, D.C. And that's according to the latest CDC homicide rate data from 2021. And in 2019, Missouri was at the top of the list. We felt we couldn't tell this story without hearing from the members of our community who live with this reality. I listened to these women who deal with the crisis of Black femicide every day in different ways. You'll hear how they're urging the community to do better while talking solutions.
We see it play out over and over in the Kansas City metro. Violence erupting in the streets and in people's homes, tearing families apart and leaving behind devastation.
My life will never be the same. It'll never be the same.
That devastation left Crystal Graves with only pictures and memories.
My 5-pound baby.
They're all she has now to feel close to her daughter.
Oriana, Raja, Michelle, Ashanti's daughter.
The youngest of 8 children, with a name as unique as she was.
She had to come out with a bang. And Oriana, means golden one. She lived up to it. She loved that name.
Oriana lived and loved big in her 22 years on this earth, but her light was snuffed out in December 2020.
I didn't see it coming. I didn't. I did not see him getting to the point to where he would kill her.
Oriana hadn't been with her boyfriend, Brandon McDaniel, for even a year, but she was ready to move on with her life.
She was getting herself together as far as getting a new place, ready to move. And he wasn't going to be a part of that.
On December 16th, he was at Oriana's Independence apartment. He shot her in the back of the head from feet away and left her there, where she wouldn't be found for a day.
When the police knocked on my door that Thursday night, changed my life forever. And then knowing that she passed on the 16th, I seen her on the 16th.
Last November, a judge sentenced McDaniel to 30 years in prison for her murder and armed criminal action.
As a mother, you see those shoulda, coulda, wouldas.
Crystal says looking back, she saw his controlling behavior escalate in the month before Oriana's death.
Every time I would go to her apartment, he would always have to come. And then she started telling me, oh, he make me sick. He always want to follow me.
Oriana is much more than a statistic, but she is one of the many faces who represent the stark reality of fatal domestic violence in Missouri. Domestic violence murders have increased since 2017, according to data the 41I team obtained from the Missouri State Highway Patrol. After analyzing the data, we found that male victims are more likely to be killed by their own parents or other family members, while females are more likely to be killed by a partner or an ex. And the majority of women killed by a partner or ex are shot with a gun.
Since my baby died, since she was murdered, there's been so many women getting killed. And this murder, period, I'm just tired.
She was a beautiful, beautiful soul.
Love you, Mariana. And I just pray that my baby rests in peace and we get justice for her.
Mayana Henderson was 21 years old when she was ambushed, shot, and killed in a gas station parking lot on Independence Avenue last summer. According to court records, her loved ones said the suspect, D'Angelo Fisher, barely knew her but was stalking her and called her nonstop. Mayana's mother, Dawn Kopecki, like Crystal Graves, can't wrap her mind around why shooting and killing her daughter was ever an option.
Why? Why did you do this to her? What did she do to you that was so bad?
Fisher is in jail awaiting his murder trial, set to begin in early 2024. The domestic violence stats, combined with the CDC data we gathered, paint a disturbing picture for Black women in Missouri. The data shows the Midwest and states bordering the Midwest are the most dangerous areas for Black women. According to the CDC, a Black woman is 5 times more likely to be killed in Missouri than in New York. Missouri's homicide rate for Black women is 19.8 per 100,000 people, the second highest in the country. In comparison, the homicide rate for white women in Missouri is 2.6. Minnesota was the first state to launch a task force on missing and murdered black women in 2021. Following the task force's recommendations, Minnesota passed a law establishing a special office for missing and murdered black women. The office will dedicate resources to reopening suspicious death cases, investigating active cases, and providing support for families.
I'd like to see our elected officials come together.
Michelle L. Watley, founder of nonprofit Shirley's Kitchen Cabinet, says Missouri needs to do the same.
What is going on in our city that black women, black girls, and trans people are being killed at disproportionate rates?
Shirley's Kitchen Cabinet is a nonprofit group that works to amplify the voices of black women through advocacy and education. We shared our data findings with Watley.
This data more than justifies a prioritization and the allocation of city funds and taxpayer funds to deal with what is essentially a crisis.
5th District Councilwoman and Mayor Pro Tem Raina Park Shaw says it's her job to do that.
Yes, it is time for us to talk about the black women and girls who are losing their lives.
We also showed Park Shaw our findings, and while she was not surprised, she was still alarmed.
It says a lot. It says quite a bit about the disparity that we have in Kansas City or in our state.
Park Shaw reminds us that she and the city council do not control the Kansas City Police Department. Jefferson City does. However, she can work within the system she has. Park Shaw recently introduced and helped pass 2 ordinances that target violence. One will allocate $30 million over 5 years to youth violence prevention groups. The other establishes a city task force to prioritize city services in high crime areas.
In order for us to get to improvement in our crime and homicides, we're not going to be able to arrest our way out of it. We need to, first of all, make sure we invest in addressing the root causes.
There are currently no efforts for a task force on missing and murdered black women in Kansas City, but
I would definitely be interested in that.
A targeted but compassionate approach would mean the world to the many grieving parents like Crystal Graves, who promises her daughter, Oriana, that justice will come.
I'm going to make sure that her death wasn't in vain. Make sure somebody remembers Oriana. If I can't help the world, but if I could just get one person, if I could just help one person, then I could say, job well done. We did it, Ori.
Risk factors for the high homicide rates we see for black women carry over into why we see more black women and girls missing in the city and state as well. That'll be in an upcoming story you'll see here on KSHB 41 News. For the I-Team, I'm Sarah Blake.
Black women, this is a women's leadership project in California. This is called the Women's Leadership Project. And this is a website. So you would go to the website of womensleadershipla.org. Let me catch the website for you. See it here? Wait, let me... womensleadershipla.org. So this website here is something that's happening in a lot of black communities that I'm actually very proud of. Black women are actually coming out and speaking up against the violence in the black communities. They're speaking about the victim shaming and blaming of black women and little girls for domestic violence and its toxic effect on black women and black girls' lives. They're also beginning to talk about the colorism and the divide between Africans and African Americans, Caribbeans, and etc. How all of these things play into the missing, exploited meaning, i.e. human trafficking, and murdered black women and girls that has been going on throughout this nation. Thankfully, and kudos and thanks again to Rosa for sparking the charge in setting off like what's looking like becoming a domino effect throughout the country in small pockets of black communities where black women, as you could see, are standing up where no one else is standing, and they're calling for the enforcement of law and the stopping of black femicide for black women and little black girls, as well as the human trafficking of our bodies. Thus, the coalitions, the committees for the missing and murdered black women and girls. Please do what you can to, here's the information at the bottom, contact all of these organizations directly. This is the California Department of Justice. It gives you information here. Please go on, pledge your support financially as well as volunteer. These are things that we can do to help ensure that little black girls and black women stop dying from black femicide. This is another website called blackgirltragic.com. It's very similar to what Rosa and the other women were doing in reference to cataloging the gruesome deaths of black women by black males. Now, we all know that every death of a black woman is not done specifically by a black male, but when it comes to domestic violence and black femicide, 9 out of 10 of the offenders or perpetrators of these horrible, uncalled for deaths are done by the cowardly black males that these women have children by, are married to, are in relationships with, and living in the same households with. I want to just scroll and show some of our fallen sisters, right? And the fact that if you click the pause and actually read the small summary of these beautiful black women's lives, you'll see that these were some talented black women who gave much to their everyday lives and to the world. And when you think about the tragedy of self-hate and hatred for black women and the self-hate speech that happens on YouTube to help promote this, it is a sickening situation that can be stopped, black women, by your effort to just completely stop dealing with black males altogether. To get it to the point where we no longer see this happening in households with black women, because there will be no more black males in them. We won't see little girls being sexually violated because there won't be any black males in those households. This is disgusting, the amount of young women, little girls, and babies that these black males have butchered and killed senselessly, simply because they have hate for self, hate for black women, hate for their lot in life, hate for everything besides just doing what they need to do. And if they have a problem with black women, staying the fuck away from us. It is disgusting the amount of black women you see scrolling before you. And I am doing this so that it burns an image into your brain, black women. Stop playing around with the dating advice. Stop playing around with the creators who are telling you to get married. Marriage does not change a sick, twisted fucking bastard's mind when he's hell-bent on hating you just because you are a black woman, wanting to compete against you instead of being a man, instead of acting like a bitch-made stupid bastard who comes on the internet degrading, dehumanizing, and calling for the death and the violent hurt and harm of black women and girls. Please wake up. This is 2024. We have had so many black women die that now you have endless amounts of different states lining up to come in and help as well, to try to deal with this calamity, this domestic terrorism that is happening on our damn front yards. And this all could be avoided, black women, by just stop dealing with them. Stop dealing with them. Carry your weapons in the street. Use them. Get your licenses for them. Black women, get each other's back. If you see somebody being assaulted in the street, help. If someone needs help on your block, step in. Do something about it. Stop letting these black women and little girls die in vain, all because of some fragile, egotistical fucking black male who feels like he wants to be an overseer of black women. It is ridiculous. Do you see all of these women? They're all dead. Thanks to these pieces of shit who come on YouTube and every day, all day, talk about how black women ain't shit, how we got bad attitudes, how everybody's better than us, how they hate us, can't stand us, they want us to die, and they're out here killing us. They're out here killing us. And for the black women that come on YouTube and actually sit up here and try to coerce black women into relationships with these guys who are taking the lives of black women every day and their children, you should be ashamed of yourself, and karma needs to come for your ass right away. And you get some of the same fucking justice that these girls, these women got in life and are not here today, because this is sickening. Why would you set black women up for this fate? Especially when they're dealing with the same type of motherfuckers that took these women out of this world. It makes no sense. And you black women who are constantly worrying about relationships, husbands, and if he likes me or doesn't like, who gives a fuck? Like yourself. Do better in life for you. To hell with black males and any other fucking guy that's not doing right by you immediately. Because as you saw in the beginning of this video, it was some type of white-looking Hispanic or something that killed that first black woman that this video started off with. Look, y'all gotta love yourselves. You gotta understand that relationships are not for everybody to be flocking to. You can have a relationship, but you should not be living for that shit. And you should definitely stay very far away from every black male in society, because this shit is going to be your fate. It is going to be your fate because they do not like you. They do not like themselves, and they do not like their existence in this world because they are not white men. And this is what they do to all of our beloved, beautiful black women who have a right to exist in this world without those motherfuckers killing them and taking them out. It's disgusting. It is seriously disgusting. Do you see how the faces never stop? Do y'all see this? Do you see it keep loading every time I scroll down? And I've been scrolling for some time now. And these are all black women who are no longer here. Keep in mind that these black males have killed over 200,000 black women and girls. Not to mention the black women who are still missing, unidentified, and who have been human trafficked. Black women, y'all, I don't know what you're gonna do, but you have got to understand that these black males are truly your nemesis on this earth. Stay away from them. Stop having children with them. Stop getting into relationships with them. Stay away from them. Do you see all of these black women, educated, uneducated, somebody's daughter, somebody's mama, somebody's sister, all dead because of black males? This should make you sick to your stomach, and it should also make you understand that when you're sitting on here worrying about silly shit where somebody's talking to you about the nature of black males and what they like, don't like, why they do shit they do, why they don't do things they, who cares? When the end result, the final result is them being responsible for taking the life of black women. It could all be stopped if you stop dating them, stop having sex with them, stop having children with them, stop having them live with you. Deal with them civilly in society. Good morning, good night, good evening, keep it moving. Stay away from them. Look how many they take. Look how many they take, and they don't care. They don't discriminate in color, size, intelligence, lifestyle. They take us all. Leave them alone. And don't give me that nonsense about it's not every black man. It's every fucking black man, because they're all capable of doing this. There has not been one or a group of any of them that have stood up to these fuckers that are doing this and is calling for them to stop or going out and making them fucking stop. Because every one of these guys who have killed these women that are scrolling before you, they got fathers, they got uncles, they got brothers, they got cousins, they got friends, they got people who know that they were going to hurt these women, because this is what men do. They socialize each other to be killers. They socialize each other to be violent, be in gangs, have the same mentality. Listen, they knew, and nobody did a goddamn thing about it. So now that you know, please do something about it. Please stop letting this happen to our black women and little girls. It is just too easy to stay away from them altogether. Just leave them alone. They walk one way down the street, you walk the other. We have nothing in common. Nothing in common. How could you continue to want to be involved with black males who do nothing but kill black women and little girls all day? What is... Black women, get your brains together, please. This is so disgusting. If I continue scrolling, I'd be here all night. The page keeps loading by itself. I'm doing this to show you. There are over 200,000 black women killed to this year to date by black males. Not by whites, not by Hispanics, black males predominantly. Look at the children they have taken as well. You guys need to let this sink in. This is really why we needed Rosa. And we needed everybody and anybody who wants to talk about black femicide, who wants to bring this attention to the forefront. Because even though we're picking up more states day by day to start initiating committees, and what else are they doing? They're doing committees, and they're doing task force to deal with black femicide in different states. Is wonderful. But if we as black women join in on the campaign, it can move much faster. Because all it takes, black women, is a change of mind. To stop thinking that you owe these guys loyalty, you owe them anything in life, and that you have a desire for them. Kill the desire. These are fucking monsters who are taking black women's lives. Black women and little girls taking their lives like as if we're nothing. And remember, there are so many videos that showed you that they feel like we are nothing. This is a goddamn shame. You should be as outraged as I am about all of these black women and little girls. This is a goddamn shame. And for any of you to fix your mouths and to think in your brains that any of these dudes are worth your time and your energy, or worth you, period, I don't know what you're thinking. They do this more often than not, which is the majority of the reason why you should stay away from them. And if you don't believe me, I'm going to put some clips in this video to let you hear it out their mouth, making fun of black women die and calling for our death. This is a goddamn shame. Babies, infants. And we know it happens because we haven't forgot about the many children that were thrown off of bridges. Do you remember that? They threw a couple of kids off of the bridge when they were newborn. Threw them off the bridge when they were like 2 years old. This is ridiculous. Burn their children up inside the home alive. All types of shit. And y'all are sitting on YouTube talking to Shira about relationships and how to get involved with one of these fucking devils. And you're going on Cynthia's channel and making excuses why you should have hatred for them but still want to deal with them. And then you're worrying about this Priscilla and every reason that she's trying to bring in every woman in the world instead of concentrating on what's happening to black women, because that doesn't make as much money. But you're still focusing on these dudes and trying to make them so important in your life when you should be using these things, using black femicide, using black girl and black woman human trafficking and child homicide as your very reasons why you should have nothing to do with them at all. Nothing to do with them at all.
To someone else, but I do want to stress this. There's nothing you can do outside of killing the black women we have right now that will make any significant change in our society. Once we see the root of evil, which is the black woman, we have to cut her out. You can't chastise her. You can't punish her. You can't discuss anything with her because she's made it blatantly clear that she does not care about you or your well-being or what's best for you. She does not care about the rightness or the wrongness of anything. She just wants to win. She just wants what she wants.
Then black women especially are going to have to learn that there's a certain way that you have to fucking act. And if you're not willing to act right, well, don't say shit when you catch that brick to your face.
Keep yourself in line. I'm very much in line. No, you're not. I'm allowed to argue with a man. You ain't got respect for man. I'm not being rude though. I'm not being rude. Because you're acting out of line. Okay. Chinese women don't act out of line. White women don't act out of line. Black women act out of line. Shut the fuck up. The race of women who's always fucking arguing. Chinese women don't do it. White women don't do it. Shut the fuck up, black women.
And this is what happens when you push out false propaganda that doesn't align with reality. You get dead black bitches. You see, a provider could at least put you in a nice sealed, closed casket, not in the river. A protector usually doesn't let you become a hashtag every week. And a builder where we can see wignogs don't carry generational wealth no matter who they're with. So, we're going to have a lot of content after the holidays. I'm going to enjoy the holidays. And I don't even know if I'm going to make videos in the holidays, because unlike these bums, I have a life that's more important than these shines on YouTube, but we're going to get some content out. Probably over the holidays, or after the holidays. For all these dead black bitches, they running out of room in the graveyard. That's what we do know.
So this is how they feel about you. This is how they this is how they act. This is how they think. This is the things they do when all those black women end up dead by black femicide. So when you're on here on YouTube worrying about a soft life with these dudes and how somebody's trying to shit on black love and stop the black community and not allow you to have black babies, you're being a fool. Because this is how they feel about you. This is what they do every day, day and night on YouTube. And they have panels talking about how much they hate you. They have panels talking about how much you need to be humbled, hurt, or taken out of this life because they feel like they're not being respected as males because they don't know how to be men. And we don't have anything to do with that. They determine their own lot in society by their own actions. If you fail to get an education, you fail to be able to compete with other men in society the way you are supposed to. That has nothing to do with black women. You fall short as males trying to be men. You cannot hold a candle to a white man, Hispanic man, Asian man, or any other type of man because you're too busy trying to run around and compete with women. Women that give birth to you. Women who should not be entertaining you because their life is on the line when they do. Black women, you need to stop this shit in 2024. You need to leave them the hell alone. You need to stop patronizing their channels. Let their broke asses go back to the rock they crawled out from under and back into their own fucking world. Arm yourself in this life against attacks in the street. Keep them out of your homes and away from your children. Keep your children protected and always looked after, whether you're there or not, so that they're never able to be caught by these pieces of shit that do nothing but human traffic our children, prostitute our little girls, impregnate our children, and then turn around and try to act like everything wrong in the society is us. Please, this is 2024. Can we start this year and the rest of every year to come new and away from dealing with these black dudes in every way? I don't care what you do, just stay away from them altogether. Drill that shit into your head so that we could stop having black women and black little girls being killed by black femicide.